and I just really want this conversation to be over. Like, have you ever, I'm sure we've all been there. You're just sitting there and they're just talking and talking and talking, and you just have to sit there and listen, but you're not even listening. And welcome to the Roughnecks podcast. This is Reno's Rants, episode number 1, where we talk common sense nonsense. Now, I don't even know what that means, but it sounds really good. So we're going to stick with that. I kind of like it. Talk common sense nonsense, because that's what we try to do with these rants. Just common sense things, but also it's just full of nonsense. So let's roll with it. So these formerly known as Fast Fridays, Cole has reached out to me, asked if I could take these over with my Reno's Rants. And what exactly are Reno's Rants? We will dive into that here in a little bit. But I really just want to say thank you to Cole, first off, for allowing me to come on here and be part of his team. And I'm truly thankful. Like, I love talking. I love doing these kind of things. So, again, thanks, Cole, for reaching out and allowing me to come on here. So, who am I? What is Reno's Rants? Let's dive into it. So my name is Reno Reda. I'm 29 years old, and that hurts deep. Me saying that I'm 29. I feel so old. I am almost 30. That scares the living shit out of me. Like, I can't even explain how much that scares me, because like I'm slowly starting to feel things happen. Like, I know I'm not out of my prime, but like things are starting to kind of slow down a little bit, or like these nagging weird things keep happening. Like I think it was 3 weeks ago, I herniated a disc in my back, and I wish I had some sweet story to tell you. Like I was deadlifting 600 pounds, or I was, saving children, had to lift a car off. I don't know. But all I was doing was building a plastic shelf. And I had like a little insert, this little plastic insert that weighed maybe an ounce. And I just like went to put it in the back of it. And next thing I know, I felt this bomb go off into my back. My legs like curled up as I'm standing. I collapsed to the ground, and like I'm just throbbing in pain. I can't even move. Anyway, see what I mean by these rants? I tend to take very hard right turns, and I don't know how to come back. So I'm 29. I'm married to Brittany. She is amazing. Her and I have been together since high school, believe it or not, high school sweethearts. So I'm married with her. We do have 3 kids. We have a 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and 2-year-old. I work full-time at NetJets, private aviation, which is a private aviation. It's the world's largest private jet company. Been there for 6 years. I'm in management there, so I do that full time. But on the side, Brittany and I, we own our own personal training company. It is called RB Performance. RB, Reno, Brittany, you get it. But we've been doing that for quite a while. Brittany is going to be actually competing in a bodybuilding show here in April. I went to school at Kent State. I graduated with a human movement and kinesiology degree. So this is our passion. This is what we love to do. We love helping people. We love how the human body works. We like to see what different stresses does to the body. We like from beginners who's never even touched the gym before to I train college athlete guys over the summer when they come home from their summer break. I'll link up with them. But it is definitely fun. We have our own garage gym, or pretty much our own gym, but it's in our garage. I guess I'll say it like that. And we've just slowly began building this sort of empire within our garage. So it's really fascinating. We have future plans coming up. But anyway, that's a little bit about who I am. I know I mentioned Kent State. I played football there at Kent State I was on the offensive line. So I redshirted my first year, and then my redshirt freshman year, I started at left guard. Then the last 3 years, I started at left tackle. Man, it was an awesome experience. We got to travel to a whole bunch of different places, like the LSUs, the Alabamas, the Ohio States, the Penn States, the Illinois, and it was just such a good experience. I get to impose my will on people for fun, for heaven's sakes, like that. Like, you can't beat that. So yeah, went to Kent, played football, graduated with that human movement degree, and now here we are. I grew up in Pataskala, and Pataskala, Ohio. For those who don't know, I can't really describe Pataskala. I don't know how to describe Pataskala, because on one side you have all this farmland. On the other side, you have like all the branch chain stuff, like your, I don't know, like your Taco Bells and your Wendy's and your UPS stores and your Verizons. Like, there's no real happy medium, because there's so much diversity here that it's hard to explain. But no, that's kind of what you get. So that's where I'm from Pataskala. And if you guys want to know a little bit more about me, Cole and I did do an episode on the Roughnecks podcast. So if you want to go back and listen to that, we'll take a deeper dive into kind of who I am on that. I'll stop talking about myself, and I'll start talking about what Reno's Rants are. This was sort of, I suck at social media. I'll just say I'm not good at social media. So I started doing these rants because I was so sick and tired of trying to get a perfect angle of a picture, or trying to get like this good video, and like, where's the lighting? Where's this? I'm just trying to make things too cute, like the captions. Am I putting enough, emojis in these captions? It drove me nuts. I can't stand it. One, I just don't think I have the patience for it. So what I started to do, I just flipped the phone around and just started talking. And that's how I came up with it, Reno's Rants. And they started on my Instagram, just simple, stupid stuff. And I have no agenda for these either. Just what comes to my mind, I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna start talking about it. So that's kind of how it started. And then Cole, I think he liked what I was doing with it, and he said they correlate really well with the Fast Fridays. So that's where we're at now, and we are doing Reno's Rant. So this is episode number 1 officially on the Roughnecks podcast. So let's do this. Let's start talking about the rant that I want to go into today. And this one, I think it is so, like, I think people do it all the time. They don't realize they're doing it. I'm very guilty of this. And then once I started noticing myself doing it, noticing other people doing it, it's helped me out when I'm just talking with people. And that's all this is how you engage with people, and are you actually present when you're talking to them? And present, I mean, are you listening to them? Or are you staring at them while they're trying to tell you something? And in the back of your mind, you're just like, oh gosh, can they hurry up? Like, I have so many things I got to get done. And I just really want this conversation to be over. Like, I'm sure we've all been there. You're just sitting there and they're just talking and talking and talking. And you just have to sit there and listen, but you're not even listening. Like, and then they just kind of look at you, and you just kind of give the occasional, oh yeah, or that's cool, or okay. Like, we've all done that. But it's really important to be engaged with somebody while they're just talking to you, because one, it's respectful, and two, you're going to pick up on something. They're going to feel like they're appreciated if you're sitting there and engaging back with them. And it can be as simple as just asking them a question about what they're talking about. So they'll be talking, even if it's something you truly do not care what they're talking about, it's still a good thing to show engagement, meaning they're saying something you don't care, and be like, oh, well, how did you do that? Just asking one question, lets them know that they are engaged. Because I'm sure you've been on the reverse side of that too. You're trying to tell somebody this thing. It's important to you. It's a story. It's whatever. You're trying to fix something, and they're just kind of staring off into space. And they're not paying attention to what you're saying. Or you're trying to say something, then they immediately jump in and start talking about something they did. So that just completely dismisses the entire conversation. Like, I'm trying to tell you this thing, and you just jump in and start going on your own little rant, I guess. Like, that doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? You feel like you just wasted your time. You feel like you just wasted their time. It feels like your story's not as important as it should be. Like, take the time to listen to people. Even if you're best friends with them and they're trying to tell you something, you're still going to pick up on something from that person. during that conversation. I do this, and this is a thing I've been practicing all the time with my direct reports at my work, is when we sit there and we have our, monthly check-ins, sit there, I'm just sitting there listening to them. They feel, that's how you make someone feel respected and make them feel like they're being heard. Even though if they are saying nonsense, like it's still good to be there and be engaged with them. So I hope that makes sense, because again, I think, especially in today's world, here I go. Here's my 29-year-old ass coming in and saying this. And in our new world, everything's through text and through, whatever, and through social media. When we go to face interact with people, it's weird. Like, it almost feels weird sometimes. And that's a shame, because people are so cool. Like, there's a lot of people out there and their stories are so interesting. And I think we're getting away from that just a little bit, or we don't know how to talk. So anyway, that's my rant real quick. That is episode 1 of Reno's Rants, where we talk common sense nonsense. So moving forward, I will be doing these a couple times a month, taking over the Fast Fridays, but we need your guys' help. If you can please send us questions for Q&A, where Cole and a guest jump on, they answer questions. That's all they do, is just sit there and answer your guys' questions. If you have questions, and it can be about anything. It could be what your favorite color is. It could be what kind of car do you drive. It can be, what do you recommend for this type of, I got an elbow injury. What do you recommend for that? Literally anything. Shoot it over, DM that on the Roughnecks Podcast Instagram. You can send a straight DM to Cole. Send one to me if you want to. I'll send them all over to Cole. Let's get going. There's a lot of momentum here with this podcast. I think you guys who are active listeners realize that. That's why I immediately said yes to Cole for coming on here, because there is a lot of momentum, and it feels right. I got a good feeling that this thing's going to keep going in the right direction. Cole's an excellent little host. So with that, I will end it there. Reno's Rant, episode number 1, where we talk common sense nonsense. Talk to y'all later.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks, out.